Avengers! Assemble.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose, I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. Aliens vs. Avengers number 2. This just came out this month. It is from this year, 2024. And just got my copy this weekend. So I figured, hey, let's dive in and take a look at it. I love the artist, Esad Ribic here. So here we have Hulk, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Iron Man, Captain America, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and of course they're looking at the eggs. So this is one of the variant covers. Look at this price, $7.99. Sweet Jesus. Yes, that is what I paid for it. But goodness gracious, $8 for a freaking comic book. My goodness. Andrea Sorrentino, I absolutely love him. There's a couple of things that I most likely don't do. I don't mind the blackness there, but I would have probably, particularly in certain areas, I would do like a highlight or something so it doesn't just blend with it. But love this. Hulk crushes that Xenomorphous head here. So real quick here, I left this on here. John Cassaday is absolutely one of my favorite artists. He died last month, and rest in peace. I just want to say how much I love his art. He is the one I try to emulate when I draw, and yeah, he'll be missed. He'll be missed. I truly just enjoyed his art. So I never met him, unfortunately. I didn't know him, but even with that, I am still going to absolutely miss him. Just because his art means so much to me. I love his signature here, the J and the C. That's very good. I love also Matt Wagner, his signature, or his it's like an 2 diamonds that make the MM. So all right, so here we go. Another universe, another time. So I have already covered number 1. So here we go. Oh my goodness gracious, look at this. And so just look at them. This almost looks like Quicksilver. I don't know whether it is or not, but nope, it is not. So yes, look at them. They created all life in this universe, and then that life created us. So this must be the androids. And now sorry. And now we are here, brother, and they are there, far below us. Yes, like ants. I would think meeting one's creators would have some higher value, would feel more significant than meeting one's maker, but I feel no different about the engineers than I do humanity. Offended? Asked the other one, and he says, appalled. And so, look at this. Something like that. Sorry. That something like that is the origin of something like me. So they feel that they are more evolved, or that they're superior. So that is sort of what you take from not Prometheus. Oh my goodness, the second one. Covenant, Alien Covenant. So here you can see they're dropping these drones here, and it's hitting them here, and oh my goodness. And look at him. Ants. Oh my goodness gracious. Esad Ribic, such a great artist. And it says here 100 years later, 10,000 planets later. So, feeling sentimental, brother. Uh, and this one says sentimentality for Im, oh my gosh, such big words. Sentimentality for impermanence is purpose without cause, he says here. So, holding that. This is something much, much different. For we have wiped all life from the universe, and this was the last of them. And he says, so pride them. So pride then. And he says, no, brother. Relief as he crushes that last skull here. And then it says 1,000 years later. Are we sure we truly understand what we're looking at? And the middle one says, tough to check the water, brother, without dipping one's toe in the drink. Theoretically, it is not only highly probable, but objectively, it is now also observable. So many other universes, countless other worlds, so much life crying out to be extinguished. For too long we have been sleeping, brothers, and now we are awakened, full of purpose, with universes to cleanse. Oh my goodness. So it is war against the multiverse. By the way, just one universe alone is impossible to. It's a big universe out there, but anyway. And of course, here we have our credits with Jonathan Hickman is our writer and Esad Ribic is our artist. He normally does not work in ink. He works with pencils, and then it is digitally colored here. So, all right, this universe 20 years ago, Earth. So, here we go. As agreed beyond our larger branding, your little company will retain its independence and continue to be run by its current leadership here. So, but will now have the ability to grow at the speed and scale afforded to all corporate interests that fall under the umbrella of Wayland Corporation. As far as we're concerned, the deal is done. All you have to do now is sign, Mr. Stark. So, oopsie. He looks at the pen here. And the Wayland on everything. Gotta love corporations. They pop the champagnes. I believe congratulations are in order. Sorry, I don't drink, says Tony. So that's who that was. I kept thinking that was Wayland. So that was Tony Stark. And so, well, it's just bad water anyway, isn't it? May I ask you a question, Mr. Stark, says this guy here. And he says, please. It doesn't happen often, but you have surprised me. You see, I gave this deal an unusually high likelihood of ending in a hostile takeover or some other combative corporate mechanism that would result in an eventual forced capitulation. So I have to know, Mr. Stark, was I, once again, expecting too much, or was I simply wrong, he says. And so Tony Stark says, have you ever heard of the expression playing possum? And he says, excuse me, playing possum, have you ever heard of that? And he says, no, I haven't. And Tony says, it's when an animal pretends to be dead, but isn't. And he says, Tony says, do you even have possums in your universe? And he's like just silent here. And Tony Stark continues here. At first I thought you were just a run-of-the-mill corporate sociopath. All that relentless aggression and single-mindedness is something I'm very familiar with. But it was uncanny the way that the Wayland Corporation never repeated mistakes. Your company's unemotional, practically and total lack of institutional memory. It felt like an inhuman organism, almost alien. So I got curious. It took some time to get inside your systems, but I needed a closer look to fully understand what I was dealing with. What a horrifying box you are to open, says Tony. And suddenly this guy pushes him here, and these two are like, "What the?" And grabs Tony here by the neck. Um, and this guy says, "This is twice you surprised me. Delightful. It must be a lot to deal with. The knowledge of the unavoidable extermination of you and your world. Death from a bullet fired before you even understood the idea of a gun." And Tony says, "How long do we have?" He says, "The seed of your extinction will arrive in 16 years and 3 months. I would project your survival horizon to last 20 years given your race's guile and bravado." And he says, "Thank you. That's the information I needed." Ah, playing possum. I'll have to remember that. As you can see, the Iron Man. Um, and so now, that is awesome. He kept the guy here. So this was Tony Stark. I thought it was Mr. Wayland. I kept calling him Mr. Wayland in the past. But it was Tony. So look at that. Oh my goodness gracious, Esad Ribic. And so Tony from off panel, and it was Captain Marvel. "They're ready for you. It's time." I just love the how Esad Ribic just chooses to compose. Um, Secret Wars was just phenomenal, and I think it's just his art. I love his art here. So, all right, and so Iron Man says, "We're leaving Earth," he says. Um, and here's Miles, Hulk, and Captain Marvel. And Miles says, "What? It's over. We lost. We have to think about survival now," says Tony. And so Miles says, "I know I said it first, but that's really it? We're going to cut and run?" he asks. "Give up on the human race?" And Captain Marvel says, "We haven't heard from any of the outposts or watchtowers in weeks. Nothing from Clint, Steve, Nat, any of them. We are what's left of the human race, and no one is coming to save us," she says. And so Tony says, "So we have to save ourselves. Fortunately, I've been preparing for this." So, and Venom says, "Careful, we can only trust this one so far." And Miles is like, "What does that mean, Tony?" And Stark says, you think you're standing in a building, but you're not. Carol, and she says, "There's a recon drone with eyes on us right now," and you can see this rumble. And take a look. And so she uses her whatever thing on her glove anyway. And look at that. Sorry. Look on this side here. So, and Miles says, "You built an escape ship out of a building?" And Carol says, "No, Tony's been planning this for a long time. He built an escape ship, then built a city for cover." So, and Tony says, "Actually, you're both wrong. It's not an escape vessel, it's a colony ship for seeding a new world." And so Hulk says, "Which you mean to populate to everyone here in the city?" And he says, "Yes." And Hulk says, "There's only about 1,400 people here, Tony. Minimum viable population to both avoid extinction and manage genetic drifts is higher than that." And Tony says, "We're not pre-industrial primates cowering in a cave, Bruce. We have advantages. We have experts." And that is actually true. Geneticists and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be enough, I promise. And Bruce kind of just looks at him here. This is what I mean. This part has to be inked, whether this digitally or whatever. But that's pretty cool. Um, Speaking of everyone should be boarding and getting settled. Miles, can you go check? Sure. Anything I need to be looking for? And the alien thing says food. And Miles says, shut up. Just fastened seatbelts. We're going to stop by Mars on our way off the system to let the mutants know we're abandoning Earth, so the people don't need to enter the stasis pods until after that. And he says, okay, on it. And Tony asks Carol, are the war machines ready? And she says, good to go. So, launching now. So, off they go. How awesome is this? Look at this. The walls have held for quite some time, but every now and then an alien gets through. We can't afford for even one to hitch a ride. So I'm arming the war machines and collapsing the superstructure. There'll be no way in after we blow the walls. And so here they go. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my goodness gracious. Just awesome. Look at this. The walls fell. And Carol says, damn, a little problem, Tony. One section didn't go boom. Partially collapsed, but that wasn't from the war machine. And Iron Man says, that's not possible. There was no failsafe on them. The only reason one wouldn't fire was, and he goes, oh no. Get eyes on that section. And so they do. And off they go. And there's Steve Rogers, it looks like it. And so Captain America is still here. So I figured he would be. He was on the cover, but he was on the cover on the first issue. So, damn it, Steve, you're late. Gods, there's hundreds of people with him. No one's left. Sorry, no one left behind. That's our captain. So, I've primed the engines. We're lifting off in less than a minute. They're over a mile away. And Bruce says, we have to delay the launch. And Tony Stark says, there's a hole in the wall for the aliens to come through. You want to risk all that's left? And so, such beasts. So, and speaking of the xenomorphs, here they are. But they're born from us, and we've seen enough variations to know that their final form owes something to the host. I wonder for years now if they're just an extension of what lies in the shadow of humanity's souls. I have to ask myself, if it's them, if it's in them, was it in us all along? And Captain America's like, everyone keep going. I'll do what I can. So, oh, such a cool badass. This is how it ends, says Tony. The Avengers, as he tosses the shields. America, and his just, oh my gosh. The world, as the shield comes back to him. Oh my goodness. What are you? If I'm not back in time, go ahead and leave. I know you have to. And Tony's like, Bruce, you can't do this. If I do nothing and just let my friends die, what does that say about me, Tony? We're not going to fight our way out of this. We have to survive, or it was all for nothing. We're going to need your mind more than your might in the coming days, Bruce. Stay. And he turns into the Hulk. I can't do that, old friend. If I did, as he jumps out, oh my goodness gracious, how awesome. I'd be a monster as he crashes through. Oh my goodness. And Steve looks, and there's Hulk. Oh my goodness. How long can we? And Captain Marvel says, we knew he wasn't coming back, and like you said, the front door is open. We go now or we don't go at all. So, launch. And so off they go. And there's Hulk and Captain America fighting the xenomorphs. Oh, leaving them behind. Look at this. Oh. And so elsewhere. And if you remember from the previous issue here, This must. Nope, it is not. I should have known here. That's the ship from Alien. Oh my goodness, the Prometheus. And so here come the engineers, and they're looking at their structure here, and then they're speaking in their alien language here. So, and then it translates here into infection to be continued. So, oh my goodness, how awesome. This is so good. So, only 2 issues have come out so far, so this is all I've got. So, Aliens versus Avengers number 2 from 2024 just came out last week. So, as of this recording, so I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Written by Jonathan Hickman, drawn by Esad Ribic. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.